Next up, we're going to look at using the touch strip and its functions as a pitch bend in more detail. So we're talking more sort of intermediate level for this video, and we're going to step inside instruments to adjust how they respond to pitch bend. First up, just a little sort of bonus thought that I have around the touch strip is this kind of idea of touch strip jumping. It's kind of interesting wobble that we can add to sounds. And you actually see it has a kind of speed at which it returns to the center. I'm not aware of a way of changing that natively, but it's certainly an interesting technique. Now, this is a file I've provided elsewhere within the Push Bible, and we've selected the lead, the yellow lead sound here first. In order to change how this drift instance responds to pitch bend, we're just going to step inside it, making first sure we're on device view, the first button here, click on it once, and then come along to global, and then we can see the pitch bend range here. So it's on 2 semitones, and we can put that all the way up to an octave, or 12 semitones in this case. This will vary depending on instrument, and its location might also vary per instrument you're using in Ableton Live, and certainly if you're using a VST where you need to set it up separately. Now, what I think is kind of interesting to explore a little bit is that I sometimes feel like the ability to lock in or really hit a certain range or a certain precise part touch strip isn't always that easy. I think it has a reasonable resolution, but maybe not always high enough. So for example, I don't know if it's that I get confused by seeing the dot, of which there's, I think, 16 going up here. But if I listen, it sometimes feels like there's a slight jump. Now, I'm not going to go into that in too much detail. Something I think is kind of interesting to consider is using a pitch bend range which you get used to. And one that, while slightly odd in a way, I find kind of useful in one way is to have 4 semitones, because 4 semitones also relates to the 4 pads we have here. So if I come up to this line here, we've gone up 1 semitone, gone up the next semitone, the next semitone, and then the next semitone. Now, of course, it's not an exact science, but it is pretty close, and it so gives you a visual idea. What you could also do, and I've done in the past, is to put something like a little piece of tape and just mark off the approximate ranges of the semitones I would like to hit. As I say, having a standard one I think is quite useful, because then you become more proficient at using this and not getting too many odd surprises if you do a pitch bend mid-performance and it does, 6 semitones instead of 2. If we just come out of this drift instance, I'll show you one other sub-tip of the touch strip, and that is you can also use it to jump the octave range of what we're playing on the pads here. So if I hold down Shift, you see 3 little dots appear here, and I can now move up and down the range of notes that we're playing. It's just a little bonus tip. Now, worth also mentioning is that there are some Max4Live devices which, if you have Ableton Live Suite or Max4Live, you can use to hijack the touch strip and have it do other things. I have mixed results with them, and there's not a huge amount of them, but do take a look on max4live.com and you might be surprised. There might be something nice out there or useful that adds something else you need or you'd rather use the touch strip for. One thing I'll just add about the touch strip is that I don't feel like it's 100% reliable in terms of if I put my finger back in the same pretty much exact position as I did before, then I'm always going to get the same result. I'll give you an example of that. So if I take this chord, like, to me, I'm hitting pretty much the same spot, and yet it's jumping a lot. Now we have a pitch bend range of 12 here. So let's put it down to just 1 or maybe 2. I mean, of course, it's less important that we are not, that we're within a range of 2 semitones means that being slightly in or out is not such a big deal. But I do find with the higher pitch ranges, you get some unexpected results sometimes. Which either suggests, one, that the touch strip is enormously sensitive and accurate, which is not really how I feel it. And again, I don't know if that's the cognitive dissonance of seeing the white dot moving to certain jumps, like so, or if that, in fact, it's just not that reliable. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. I lean towards the latter, which is a shame, I suppose, but perhaps it's not such an issue. Perhaps it's also something to do with the instrument I'm using just now, but yeah, I'm yet to see something which disproves my suspicion that it's the second. That was just a small part of the Push 3 Bible. If you have any questions about the course, do check the links below. Let me know in the comments or write to me directly. And in the meantime, take care.